Facebook. What's going on? What's going on, man? We live. We live. You got Phantom J, you got DJ Black, and you got Jay Austin, man. We live. We make up the crew. Speak on it. Speak on it podcast, man. We want to thank everybody for coming out. As you see, this is going to be our subject matter for tonight. When do you know it's time to get out of a relationship, man? And we're going to talk about that tonight. And just we want to thank everyone that's tuning in tonight. We want to thank everyone that's tuning in tonight, man. I invited a few people, and hopefully they'll come on in. So we gonna get live and right to it. So we want to thank everybody for being a part of this, and thank you all. We're gonna get right to the news, man. We're gonna get right to it. What's up? What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, we got some things going on, man. I just want to hit real quick, man. Just got something in. I don't know if you all know the rapper Triple X Tentacion. Triple X Tentacion killers have been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. These individuals life in prison without the possibility of parole, and we see that's what's happening right now. So we're gonna read up, look for that right now, and see what's going on with that. So we're gonna go ahead and do with that, man. We got Trayvon Newsom, Michael Boatwright, and Derek Williams were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility to parole for the 2018 death of Tentacion, the rapper Tentacion, man. So they getting they just due for the things that they did to this young man. It was on, and it was caught on camera. That's the thing, it was caught on camera of this man being murdered. This young man was being murdered. He was in this generation, this young generation. He had a heavy influence on the young people, man. He was very, very, very talented man, very talented individual. Man, he was gunned down in his, I think he was going to the motorcycle shop, and they followed him, and they showed the killers, following him, and they pulled up in front of him, pulled a gun out, and gunned him down. And the killers were found guilty, and they will be spending the rest of their life, natural life, in prison without the possibility of parole. Also, we all know that I don't know if you know the singer Anthony Hamilton has announced that he is retiring from music. I was reading, and this came over the wire here, man. He said, man, the game has changed, and it's not the same. It's not what it used to be. And he decided that he wanted to retire. Anthony Hamilton, man, has some good hits. He was real soulful, man. When I first heard his song, he did what caught me was the sample that he did that Jay-Z used on "Mama Loves Me." Anthony Hamilton used that on his song, and that's what drew me in to his music, was when he used the "Mama Loves Me" sample. And I forgot who really did it, but he did it, man, and he drew me in, man, and it was all together, man. And he's looking at retiring from the game because he said it's not the same. It's really a lot of politics. It's really a lot of things that go on in the music business, man, that, you hear about horror stories of artists not being paid, or they going into debt. One, Nori from Drink Champs, he talked about how the game and the system works with the music game, on how the label will loan you or front you money on your album with interest. And you go out, you promote the album, they put money behind you. They may give you $500,000. They put money behind you and say $500,000 or $1 million front you, and you go out, perform, and your records don't perform. And that now they're doing the 360 deal. So since they're struggling with CDs and all different things of that nature, so the game done changed. So on their first album, they may loan you $500,000, And if you haven't made that $500,000, he said a lot of times what they would do is they would take that money and whatever they had, you just in debt, and they gonna loan you some more money. It may be $2 million. One artist, I think it was Cut Close. It was another female artist said, right to this day, this was back in the '90s, they owe a label $2 million. So it's a bunch of politics in the music business that a lot of us really we think is glitz and glamour, but it's a lot of politics. Generation, man, they taking music and they going on YouTube being discovered. So it's a lot to that, man. Keep you close on that. If he change his mind, then we'll go from there. This story, man, we've been following with this couple from Mississippi, I think from Cleveland, Mississippi. A woman shot her husband, and it was filmed on live on Facebook Live. She shot her husband in the house. I saw it. I really don't like looking at that stuff, but I saw it. And she shot her husband on Facebook Live. Her name was Khadijah Brown. Her husband, man, and the thing about it, they just got married, man. They just got married. You know what I'm saying? Just got married, and her husband was coming home, on the live. The woman's name is Khadijah Brown, and her husband's name was Jeremy Brown. They from Lodis. I guess this is Lodis County in Mississippi, or Cleveland, Mississippi. He comes home. She fussing at him about not being there for the kids. He's always gone. He's working this, that, and the third. So an argument ensues. They go back and forth with each other. Man, this is on live. You can, you look at it. So Khadijah, steps out of the frame. Once she steps out of the frame of the phone, she's going back and forth with her husband. Her husband telling her to go on. He ain't abusing her. But there was a history of phone calls from the police already stating that they was having issues with one another. So we decided to tackle this subject tonight, dealing with this. So what happened is that they stepped out of the frame. They started arguing back and forth. And then you heard a pow. And you didn't hear the husband. You heard Khadijah screaming. And she was screaming for help, going upstairs. The children come downstairs to see their father deceased, and the mother telling them that their father is deceased. Man, it's an unfortunate incident that had happened. And man, I hated to read that, especially during the time of Ramadan, fasting during the time of Ramadan. You try to remain in a positive vein, and man, and nothing really disturbed the spirit. And it's been kind of heavy on my spirit, because a lot of times we get tied up in relationships with people. We love people, but man, that's an example of how toxic the relationship can get, that we can kill one another, we can murder one another, and that's the hardest thing that we deal in a relationship. It's not designed to be easy, period. God didn't make it to design to be easy. It's made for two people to come together as one. And when you first exchange your vows, that's really, you just wedded, and you're in front of witnesses with your intentions of being married. And it's not easy. So the delicate balance of dealing with people's personality, and it's a lot of, and from what I heard, you got to kill a lot of egos. And in America, you're dealing with a 50% divorce rate, 50% divorce rate in America, dealing with people in the marital status, that we're not staying together long as far as when it comes to marriage. So they say the average black marriage lasts a minimum of 5 years. Now, not to say it don't go further than that, but the average in a general sense is 5 years. And it's very difficult to, as far as marriage goes, man. But it was unfortunate that Miss Khadijah Brown shot her husband, Jeremy Brown, in Cleveland, Mississippi, shot and killed him. She was saying that the gun accidentally went off because you can hear him in the background talking to each other, and the gun went off in midstream. My thing is this: is that I wouldn't be surprised if they hit her with attempted murder. I mean, with first degree murder. First of all, you had the knowledge. You had to think about going to go get a gun with your husband. You had to think about going to go get a gun. That's first. Second, you had the gun. You said that the bullet wasn't in the chamber. You can hear it clicking in the background, but we can't see anything. But at any rate, when you in an argument or a dispute with one another, you dealing in a dispute with one another, you don't have to go get no gun. To go gun, that means you made a conscious effort and that premeditation, that's first degree murder. Now, if they were ensued and a fighting ensued and somebody fall, trip, hit their head, or the gun accidentally go off, it's a struggle, somebody gets shot, that can be a second or third degree charge. But I wouldn't be surprised if they charge her with first degree murder, killing her husband, and the history of the domestic violence that went in that house. And we're gonna talk about when is enough is enough. With us murdering and killing one another. When is it? I've never been married, so I don't know. I'm at the mercy of whoever is speaking or whoever is out here that's listening to us. Is you can get your input. Black gonna put the link out there for you all to see. So I just want to deal with that, man, and we just go from there, man. Let's see, in the link. It's going to be in his bio. That's our link, man. You can come on and you can talk about it and let us know what's going on. I don't know if you can see me because I know my net, where I'm at, is kind of choppy. So I'm going in and out. But the woman is a woman, Khadijah Brown, and her husband, Jeremy Brown. Khadijah Brown was charged in Cleveland, Mississippi. That's Lowndes County, Mississippi, charged with the murder of her husband, and she's saying it was an accident. And we just gonna keep moving on with that. Hold on 1 second while we did. Sorry about that, y'all. We just we got some little technical issues going on, man. Things happen, and it is what it is, and things happen. So we just gonna keep rocking and rolling because that's what we used to do. Now, rap and some you shooting out and the monitor not working good, So with the monitors, you got to have them plugs. If you ever see them performers with plugs in their ears, those actually speakers inside of to protect your hearing first, and also you can protect your hearing, and also they got speakers in front of you, so you can hear the music that's going on outside, because performing that can take a toll. Air is echoing, you only, and his speaker going out, you really can't hear. So we kind of dealing with an issue right now. We're dealing with the connection, man, but we're gonna get this thing popping, and we're gonna get this thing rolling. So right now we just kind of doing a little setup, and man, I hope everybody day is good. I know my day is good. It's the 15th day of Ramadan, man. The 15th day of Ramadan. I just finished my reading. Man, I've been fasting for the most part. Kind of experienced a little dehydration. But I had to, drink a little water here and there, and everything is real. Allah says in the Holy Quran, at certain times, if you miss your fast, you wake up late, you miss your fast, you can do things in expiation of that. You can make up the day, you can feed the homeless, or feed someone in need. In expiation of that. Allah don't desire no hardship on a believer when it comes to fasting in the month. And it's just a beautiful thing. Y'all hold on for 1 second. We trying to touch it up, and I'm trying to see what's going on. See what we got here. So I sent them the link, and we should be ready to go. We apologize for that, man. Sometimes the internet can be slow, and that happens sometimes when you're dealing with Wi-Fi. So that's where we at. Let me see. What you say? What you say, Suge? You said she was doing. Yeah, she was doing too much. I don't. It was her intent. Play too much and it changed lives. Yeah, you don't play with no gun, Suge. You don't play with no gun, man. You don't play with a gun. You know him. You know, we was going to school. We ain't play with no gun. We was taught that if you're gonna pull out a gun, you better use it. That's the only time a gun was pulled is when you used it. And a lot of times when we were coming up, somebody gets shot in the behind or shot in the leg. You know, that happens. But we don't pull out guns, man, and play with it. And it says sometimes I think marriage is the last resort to hold a relationship together. Well, the way I look at it, though, Suge, is that a lot of times, man, we got marriage in America. The way marriage in America is, man, is that a lot of times we look at it. We may gotten a baby on the way. Hey, what's up, Black? We may gotten children, and we want to just keep that family together. But marriage really is an agreement between two people. And if it's looked at properly, sometimes people marriage, you know, especially with Caucasians and other people in royal families, they deal with the art of mating. And with the art of mating, they marry within and bequeath and marry with inside of their families. So they can keep the monarch or they keep royalty going. They do selective mate choosing within that. And the research that even said even through arranged marriages, you have a 4% divorce rate as opposed to a 50% divorce rate choosing their mates in a lot of societies that practice arranged marriages. So yeah, sometimes it could be the last resort, but the institution was set up for God for us to procreate and to build strong. So where there's a strong family, you got strong communities. We can look out for each other. We understand, and the men know responsibility. So yeah, so I got you on that. Black, could you see me?
Yeah, you good.
Could you see me, Black?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
The internet
In that
kind of
situation,
this time.
I think they were in love, but it was that toxic love that what Megan Thee Stallion and all them be talking about, that toxic shit. And but as you because I went to both of their pages and was watching the videos that was posted. They got a TikTok with the family on it. They doing dances. So I think they loved each other. She loved him. He made more posts about her. But it's like it was just a toxic relationship because after the police came to the murder scene, one of the officers was quoted saying that they had a history of call-ins of domestic violence between the both of them. And so with that being said, it was toxic on both ends, but it just seems like Deja said, she was doing a little too much. I think she was playing. Well, not really playing.
Yeah.
She was, okay, this seemed like one of the first times he was actually packing his clothes to leave. Because in the live, she said, Look at him, y'all.
Yeah.
He packing his clothes. You know, he packing his clothes. He trying to leave. He packing his clothes. So they
Yeah.
probably get into it. He probably leaves. They gone a couple of hours. They spend the night over his uncle or cousin's house. Come back home and they back lovey-dovey. But this particular time, she wanted to play with him with a gun because he was actually packing his clothes to leave. You know, to go to work, leave, and
Right.
she and I got mixed feelings about. I don't believe her intentions was to kill him, um, especially not in front of the kids. Um, I don't think that was
No,
the
no,
intent.
because you can hear the gun. You can hear the gun mid sentence. The gun went off. You know what I'm saying? You can hear her talking, going back and forth with it. The gun went off. So from that vantage point, I don't think that she had an intention to kill him, but she shouldn't have had the gun in the first. Don't play with no gun, man. Period. We grew up like that. We didn't play. We just didn't do. You know what I'm saying? We were taught if you're gonna pull out a gun, you better use it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's issue. That
I
the
feel like
gun was clout. Yeah, that's
yeah, she
true.
pulled the gun as trying to get leverage to show him that she was serious, not to leave. But I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when she did that, she didn't think to check to see if one was in the chamber. She didn't check to see
yeah,
if the clip,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, was in there. If she was going to do that, she should have emptied the clip, checked the barrel, make sure it wasn't nothing, you know, in the gun, and then played with him if she just had to play with the gun. But the reason I say it's mixed on the gun because as soon
Right,
as it went off, she said, shortly after it went off, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, I'm going to go to jail.
right,
Then
right,
later
right,
on in the
right.
video, she says, I didn't know one was in the chamber. Seem like
But I'm still
if I
struggle. I'm still
accidentally shoot,
struggling with the. I'm still
you
struggling with
still
the
struggling with
gun though.
the
Like
gun, period. But that's over with.
that shit.
The
Period. Yeah.
deal
Right.
is
Right.
once you got the
Right.
gun and you're playing with it,
Right.
if I accidentally shoot you, the first thing I'm gonna say is I didn't know one was in the chamber. That's first. Like, wow, I didn't know it was loaded. My bad. She didn't say that.
But
She
he
said,
did.
oh man, I'm
He
gonna go
did.
to jail. She said she's going to jail first.
Yeah.
Then later she says,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know one was in the chamber. So then you wonder, was
Right.
the intent to shoot him but not kill him? But then she came back to as a self-defense, as a protecting herself thing by saying, I didn't know
Right.
one was in the chamber because this came like a minute, almost a minute or so later after the kids were screaming and crying that she said she didn't know one was in the chamber.
Yeah. But
So
hey, keep going.
that's kind of that could be looked at, viewed at as kind of suspect as well. But like I say, I don't think she meant to kill him, you know.
No,
It
no.
doesn't matter.
Jay, go.
Yeah,
Jay, what's up? Hey, give me a minute.
what's going on?
I'm finna have something.
All right. Yeah, so it really doesn't matter if she knew the gun was loaded or not. Her grabbing the gun and pointing it and pulling the trigger still is negligent. It's
Yeah,
negligent homicide.
I know, and you in the law, I know that, but I try to, okay, so we know the law, okay? You stayed in the law, you're right. But let me ask you this: if you listen to the audio, do you think it was intentional? Seriously, all BS aside.
Well, I mean, I can't. I'm not in her mind, so I can't say if it was intentional or unintentional. There is no way for me to identify if it was intentional or unintentional based on her verbiage.
Yeah, because she was saying, but the way she was, what she said is about to be a murder scene. She was saying a lot of stuff, incriminating herself. But I just can't, I don't know. Like you said, we don't know, like you said, what was in her mind. All we know is she went live. They was into it. She decided to go live, say he's not there for the kids. Then one of the reports say she went live trying to say that he was bisexual. and that's what triggered the heated argument. And then, you know, but like I say, that's alleged. But according to their little Facebook and social media, TikToks and all that, they had great moments. They looked happy.
Hell, people had great moments with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, they looked happy with their you know, their highlights were happy. They got videos with the kids in the back seat, and they rapping and singing, and you know, they seemed like they was a cool, happy little family. But then the police say that they had a history of domestic violence between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
always look great in pictures. Pictures can always look great, but it's the behind the scenes that tell a real story. So, you can smile, you can have fun, you can joke with each other, and y'all just seem like the happiest couple ever.
Right.
But when you get home, it could be hell. Kids can look happy, they can look like they well fed, and you don't feed them at home. You don't do anything for them at home.
Right.
So, you know, you can't just look at that picture. But like, if the police said that there were several calls out to the house, this means that there was always issues there. There's always been some form of domestic violence, whether it's threats or mental or whatever it was, or even physical.
And a lot of them saying that's why they feel like she's gonna get you know, she's gonna do some time for it, because majority of the calls was him calling on her. So she was kind of, and then when you watch the videos, their videos, she was kind of gangster, ratchet, you know, or whatever. And she just seemed like she was kind of the dominant one in the relationship. So,
well, you know, and he probably took that role. He could have been the mild mannered one, you know, not the high strung one, you know. So, and it could have been she was just trying to show off. It could have been.
Like,
that's a possibility.
Like, don't leave, the point to prove, pull the gun out, and in hopes that he would.
You have to, as I always say, there are always consequences that comes with whatever the circumstance is. Whatever you do, there's a consequence that follows. So her pulling out that gun, trying to show it off, do whatever, scare him, whatever, which is still a form of domestic violence. Then her shooting him was the consequence of her trying to do whatever she was trying to do, put on air tactics, whatever it was. Now, so the result of that consequence is her facing criminal charges.
And the children being without the dad, because it seemed like the children was closer to the dad, because when they found out he was dead, one of the children yelled, "You killed my dad," and was crying, his bawling, his eyes out. I mean, the child was just, and when I heard that part, that silenced me there. Because at first, you know, I'm listening. Then I hear the gun go off. I hear the hollering, you know, in the back. I was like, wow. Then when I heard the kids crying, and that got me on that part. I was like, wow, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and no one's saying that he was weak. He attempted to stay in a relationship that he probably shouldn't have.
Right. Yeah. That's what I think it was. He was in love. Had baby. They probably was high school sweethearts or something. They had kids together, and you know, they try to make it work. I know relationships now that people with high school loves got a baby, and you know, trying to make it work. He cheating, she cheating. They fuss, they fight, they break the dough down every other week, and you know, the maintenance man come and put it up. But they love each other. They take trips. They go, you know, then they show their highlights on social media. But everybody in the neighborhood and things know that they fighting be outside with the police outside the house and leave, and he come back in 2 weeks or a week. I mean, some people, you actually have women out here now that feel like if you're not fighting them, you don't love them. And I know we've seen that coming up with certain family members of ours. If you're not fussing, fighting, and arguing every day, what up, Levi? Heard what it is. If you're not fighting them and threatening them, some of them just feel like, they want a toxic affair. They want a toxic love. And like they just say, it's no real connection there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, no, they have a real connection, but it's just one that they shouldn't be connected. All connections aren't good connections.
A bad connection.
Yeah, all connections aren't good connections. Right. And they were two people that probably should have left each other a long time ago, because of course, as it was stated that by police, that these calls happen frequently or in the past. So you can't continue to stay in a situation where it could lead to this, or lead to a fist in the face or a stomping or anything of that nature. You have to go ahead and get out of those relationships, because it can result in serious injury or death at some point.
And like they say, it's an attention cry in most cases. And so it's like, but the sad part about it is this year alone, this month, actually March alone, it's been 4 or 5 domestic violence killing amongst not just our people, but all over.
Well, I mean,
Phantom, show 1 or 2 of them. It's a lot of them. I'm talking men killing women, women killing their husbands, and vice versa.
And their babies.
One of them even killed kids.
Yep. So, I mean, our society has become a very violent society. No one values anyone's life anymore. And, these tools that we have, these guns, are so available now. And then, of course, in Texas, you can carry without a license. In Florida,
I think you can do that in Georgia too now.
Yeah, in Florida, they're starting it or something of that nature. So now everyone's going to be armed with guns, and everyone's not responsible. Everyone's not mentally equipped to have that type of power in their possession. I was reading today that a man stabbed this other guy to death because the guy told him he didn't want him vaping in front of his daughter. No regard for life. Driving down the highway, a woman gets shot in the neck.
Yeah.
For cutting somebody off.
Yep.
But I see, I know, back in the 60s and 70s, the men were able to put their hands on women and get away with it. And the woman would plot a lot of times on killing him. And a lot of times they would get off, back then. But then the law came in where you can't. And it seemed like it stopped for a minute, but now it's increasing as the years and things go by. It's like it's increasing. And instead of fighting, they actually killing now. Yeah. Like when I came in the country, it was a fight.
You got to look at people. Yeah, you got to look at people, man. Some of them, they're just hateful. They intend and they want somebody to do something so they can go out and go shoot and kill somebody and claim self-defense. You got some people who are just outplaying.
Just
they
like
hate black people, they threatened by us.
Just like
they gonna shoot you, just because of that, and then use it as shit.
Well, I mean, it's not just them; it's black people killing black people too. So we can't just put it on them because we're doing the exact same thing that they want us
like
to.
2 years ago, was it 2 or 3 years ago? the incident that happened in Bastrop, where this couple I know, I actually DJ'd their reception. He caught her cheating, and a week or two later, he went and gunned her down. Killed her. You know what I'm saying? And
wow.
They got married. Like I say, I did the reception. They say he was beating on her and stuff. She stayed in a relationship, decided to, when she made up her mind to leave, and he caught her cheating a week later, he killed her. So it's like, it's no remorse. And then, it's heartache is something, you know what I'm saying? Heartbreak, you done gave your all to somebody, and you catch them being untrue, being unfaithful, and people snap. But in this case, he was just trying to leave, but she probably fell under one of those, if I can't have you, no one will. And she probably didn't trust him. And when him packing his clothes or whatever led to that argument, I feel a trust issue or something was there, because she started the live by saying he don't help with the kids. He's not there with the kids, like he's gone all the time. But when you look at the videos, he's in a lot of pictures with the kids. He's, so it's like, man, I just hate I stumbled across it, but it just kept popping up. And I had already made the topic, and then that popped up. But it's just so many domestic violence killings that's going across the board. Phantom, show one or two of the ones, because like I say, there's so many that happened in March alone that is just, it's sad. It's terrible.
Hey, did you send them to me?
Yeah, they didn't inbox.
Hey. Oh, okay, all right. Just keep.
Yeah, they
keep
lined
going.
up.
I'm gonna pull them up.
But yeah, so my thing is, with all the opportunities that they said that women have today, they're making more money. They're the most educated Black women. You don't have to stay in those relationships like our parents and grandparents and great grandparents did. You don't have to. Neither does the male. If he's living on her for a place to stay, right now you can drive Uber, you have Instacart, you have DoorDash. So it's ways of getting out there to make money to provide for yourself. So I just don't see why people stay in relationships like that. I'm not gonna stay nowhere where I have to come home every day fussing and fighting.
Well, that's you and that's me, but some people get attached to the drama-filled life. They are attached to that person that they're being abused by, and sometimes people have been conditioned to feel like they deserve to be treated that way. So
that's what when I say some of them feel like if you don't fuss or fight them, you don't love them, because
not even that part. They just feel like they don't deserve to be treated any differently than what they're being
the way the person treated them.
Right. Not that they enjoy it, but they feel like their worth is so little that they deserve to be treated that way. So,
right. That's right.
And it can come from from your rearing, or just you picking up these different experiences over time, and say that you've had very low self-esteem. Someone comes along, shows you attention, brings you in, takes care of you to a certain extent, and then they flip the script and start abusing you in certain ways. And you start feeling like, well, they were there for me when I was down. They helped me out when I couldn't help myself. Right. They put me in. I felt like I was an ugly duckling. So I'm going to stay here and take this abuse or take take this from them because this is what I deserve. I can't do anything. I can't do better than this. So this is where I'm going to stay. And sometimes people stay so long that they die in it.
Wow. So yeah, the low self-esteem thing, I've seen that. You actually have guys that'll beat a woman down to make her feel less. And then when she get with someone who show her what it really feels like to be a woman and to feel love, I can see it turning into that if the guy flipped the script, because it's kind of like that first hit of crack, they say.
Right.
Once they get that first high, they're forever searching for it. And if that person showed them love and lifted them up, they're gonna forever, kind of look for that love that they felt when that guy or that, woman first introduced that type of love to them.
Right. So, and most of the time it comes in different waves. So you start taking them away from their family, right? And then, so sometimes people have to be careful about when a dude says, hey, you don't have to work, you don't have to do this. It's a way of cutting you off from any type of economic way of taking care of yourself. And then once they do that, they get you isolated in that way from your family, from money. Then they take control, and then they start emotionally abusing you. And once they break you down emotionally, then it can turn into physical abuse. And then they have you trapped because you have nowhere to go. You've been in this relationship. You haven't been in the job market. You feel like you're not marketable. And then he keeps your face beat up, so you feel like you're ugly. So you can't go out and do anything.
Yeah, it's a process. And women do the same. They beat a lot of good men down. But go ahead and look at what happened. Okay. That's when did that happen?
Brian. This happened, let's see, Brian Walsh killed and dismembered his wife. Let's see, this happened on March 14th. This is as recent. He killed his wife. Let's see.
And then there was one not too long.
Let's see. One shot. He shot her husband. He said how to kill his wife in front of kids days after buying a gun. This is Muhammad Afridi.
So he was just out there
with
guns
in Arizona for killing his wife.
And that happened in March too, right?
Right. You just obsessed with guns. Now you looking at it happened in March as well. So let's see. So but even
it's like it's on the rise. It's on the rise.
It's on the rise. Just freely this happening with domestic violence. People are stressed out. People are in the pandemic kind of manifest that as well. Of people really domestic violence rising during the pandemic. So that's not something to play with, man. As far as with domestic violence, I'm gonna look up the information on the domestic violence rise during the pandemic. But it's something to.
But my thing is, when a woman or man, because there's a lot of men being abused, also, when they see those,
not talking about it. Yeah, they're not talking about it.
When they see those signs, my thing is, at what point do you just well, to me, I say when that person calls the police. I preach that to a lot of the guys that's in relationships, that's in toxic relationships. They fussing and fighting all the time, and they'll be telling me what's going on. My deal is the first time one of them called the police. Calling the police to me is a deal breaker. If you call the police and we are arguing about money or something, and you decide you want to call the police, soon as you call the police and tell them what's going on and come to the house and give them my name, that's a wrap with me. That's over. The relationship over. I don't give a how much I got tied in it, how many kids in it, how much debt. I don't care. I'm out. Because if they call the police on you, apparently at that moment they're letting you know that they don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one. So they get the police called on them, and then you stay in it. And then the police gonna get called again. You're gonna bail out, she'll bail you out, like this couple I knew that they got into it one night at the club. Police came out there and everybody heard the police say, hey, y'all call us all the time, and then you be right up here bailing them out. He say, so if you gonna press charges, just make sure if you press charges, we gonna make them stick this time. I'm not gonna keep coming out here. And so it's kind of like the cry wolf, where they was like, when they get that phone call, he hit me, they not gonna go make that a priority to go out there because you call so much. And it may be the time that she really needs the police there, or he really needs the police over there, but they didn't call them so much. You know, the police, especially in small towns, the police are able to be like, oh hell, that's just them. Every time we go over there, she's gonna go right back up there and burn him out. So they'll take their time to try to see if it's gonna die down, so they don't have to do the paperwork. You know, I've seen that happen. I'm friends with
and it was stating it was and they said it was an 8% increase in domestic violence during the pandemic, an 8% increase of domestic violence.
And it probably was a lot of divorces after that pandemic too, right? I think during the pandemic,
I'm gonna have to look at that as well.
Yeah, I'm quite sure the divorce rate increased, and I added to it.
Yeah,
but you know, so not even when you have to call the police. So you know, arguments happen in relationships, but it's that second tier where there starts to be an issue. So when you are getting to the point where you're getting in each other's face and each other's personal space, and you starting to grab, hold, push, and those type of things, then it might be time for y'all to start looking at doing something different. And
I mean, I had a situation like that. And my motto is, if you have to beat them, you don't need them. And when it got to the point where it crossed my mind where she was going to make me do something, I got away from that instantly. I knew right then that this is not going to work. And I did the instant wean yourself off that person. And I got out of that relationship because the fact I even had that thought, I knew I had to do something different. And that was to get away. And that's what I did. I refuse to be in a relationship where my home is not my peace.
I can agree with that.
It's sad when you pull up at home and you got to sit in the driveway for 30 minutes to an hour before you even go in the house.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to live. There's just no way to live. And it came to that, where you wasting gas, blocking, and don't know where to go because you don't want to go home and you ran all your errands. That's no way to live. But people stay in that though. It's gonna be all right, man. She pissed me off. It's this and that and that, and then they keep going home to it, and then they end up fighting, fussing lead to threats, lead to when they first lay hands. Then it turns into that I'm sorry, that apology, this and that and that. They put the time in. The sex probably good. They got kids together. You ain't really got nowhere else to go because you wasn't expecting it to end. And then you end up back in that situation. You know, it's just an ongoing. And like the Dr. Kathy Johnson Leonard said, some of them, they don't have that, they're insecure. They don't have that, they need to learn how to just let it go. You know, I'm sure you can find somebody, now they got shelters everywhere. You can get out of those relationships if you see they're not for you. It's just that many get comfortable, many get content, and they stay in it. And that's how we get the domestic violence, the she snapped and killed him, he snapped and killed her. They was playing with a gun and the gun went off. And, you know, you get those because if you love somebody, playing with a gun, if it's a happy relationship, will be the last thing on your mind. Playing with a gun. Pulling a knife out will be the last thing. You may be cooking and say, hey, I'll do this, you know, but you're not going to go at that person. So
No,
when it gets
even making those statements, if you truly are in love with someone, you're not even going to make those statements.
Well, like I say, if they joking,
yeah, you're not going to make those statements.
You're not going to make that statement because the thought of you even
If you're angry, that's one thing. Yeah, if you're angry, yeah, that's one thing. But I'm saying, like, just joking around.
No, I mean, not even really joking around. But I mean, to each his own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I wouldn't even.
Did
hey,
his sound go out?
Could y'all hear me?
We can hear you now.
Hey, could you? Oh, okay, yeah, because the internet is crazy. But
yeah, you froze.
Here, you play with nobody. Yeah, could you hear me now?
Yeah, y'all don't get it. Let me tell you what I say when I say joking.
Okay.
Let's just say somebody cutting carrots, and then they just in the kitchen joking. Boy, you come over here talking that clown. I'm gonna do that joking around while she cutting carrots. I ain't saying fucking and fighting, and you pull a knife out, boy, I kill you. I'm just saying we joke around like that. You know, in the kitchen cooking, having fun, and then she on the phone with one of her friends, and then I'll say something. And hey, he know if he come over here, I got this knife in my hand. Stuff like that. That's when I say that. That's what I'm talking about. You guys will be a little bit too serious. But yeah, when you're arguing and they threaten you with a knife, that's one thing. But what you saying,
yeah, it was a 12% spike. It was a 12% spike in divorces during the pandemic. They estimated it was going to be 717,000, but it came out to like 620-some thousand divorces.
But do you know why?
During the pandemic, so it was like a 12%
do you know why?
Spike. Because people not making the money, they don't have no job.
Nope.
The plants were closing down. What was it?
They were finally.
They didn't like them.
They were finally spending time.
Yeah.
They had to. You was forced to stay at home with your mate. You didn't have that going to work. She didn't have her work husband. He didn't have his work wife. They was at home, confined, because they even put curfews. They didn't want you leaving the house, so you stuck at that house with your spouse, with your mate.
Right.
So that's what it was. And then now you couldn't, if they were seeing other people or something, you could sneak in another room and talk to Julie. She could sneak in another room and talk to John, because you were there with that person. It was like, we finna be genuine. And like Boosie said, that's when so many breakups came during the pandemic, because they found out they couldn't stand their mate.
Right.
They couldn't stand them. Why did I even marry this person? You are knowing, because you're not getting up at 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning, going to that 9 to 5. You working at home, the ones who had jobs. The ones who lost jobs, you're confined to home.
Right.
It ain't no, girl, I can't wait till I come to work.
Right.
Man, I can't wait till I get in here and hang out with y'all. You confined in that house with your spouse. And if not 24/7, at least 18 of those hours, you're at home. And like she said, it brought it
you're right. It did bring it to a head. Yeah, it should. You're right. And KD said, "Forced time to actually see this mother you married to." True. Finally, see, I've done a work at home job, and that's the best thing they could have did was terminate me, because I hated working at home. That's not something that is for everybody. If you're an outgoing person, like to move around people, that I didn't like it. I thought that I would like,
yeah, it wasn't so much as that.
But
it was the fact that they're with their spouses.
It was just different for everybody.
Yeah, it's the fact that they were with their spouses 24/7. That was the breakup. It wasn't just I'm working at home because you making money. You making money, you're gonna make money. And you making money, you make the money. But it was the fact that when you go to bed, you seeing that spouse. When you wake up, you seeing that spouse. When 12 o'clock in the noon, and you want to do lunch, you seeing that spouse. When 6 o'clock in the evening, you seeing that spouse. You know what I'm saying? It's like you was constantly with your mate. And it was a test to people. It showed people who you married. And if you was, and if that person you married weren't your friend, if that person you married, you really didn't love them, y'all didn't have that love connection, it came out during the pandemic. And when the pandemic ended, so many people divorced. They got out of it. They was like, they realized who they was married to. Because long as they can leave when they get mad, leave and go to a bar and get something to drink, leave and go to the lounge, leave and go hang out with your friend. But now the friends are scared that you're going to bring COVID in their house, especially if they got a husband and some kids. So they was like, nah, girl. So they on the phone with their spouse. So then, and the women will be like, it's Netflix and chill time. And then that man looking like, man, I used to be with Diana right now. I'm just keeping it real. Sitting at home staring at your mate 24/7. If that's not your person that you really feel is your life partner, the person you love, the person you care about, your best friend, man, I can imagine that's hell. And that's why I preach. When you find that mate has to be your friend first. They have to be your friend first. If you just jumping up because he's pretty, jumping up because he's fine, jumping up because he got money with him because they popular, that shit's gonna get old. That body, that they can lose the money. The pandemic showed us that. And economy period is showing us that. Look at how many global companies are shutting down now. You know what I'm saying? So even the job of tomorrow is not promised tomorrow. Companies are shutting down left and right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I want to shoot this at you too. This from NPR.com. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Y'all. From NPR.com, they said that murder amongst married couples, or murder period, but murder amongst married couples spiked 30%. It spiked 30% during the pandemic. That's the link right there. You all can go read it. What we sourced that to see that was on the rise as well during the pandemic. That's strong. This was reported by the FBI that murder was it spiked by 30%. People will and check this out. Say this, being a victim of COVID can also mess with you psychologically, because you can be when your mortality is, you face your mortality and you are not thank you, brother James W. That's my brother from Muhammad Miles, number 48. Thank you, brother. When you facing your mortality, and when I was in that bed, man, and the doctor told me this, and I'm gonna say this again. He said we did all we can do because COVID was novel at the time. He said there's nothing else that we can do. And facing that, it changes you. It changes it change. It can cause depression. Sometimes can be affected, or may have been affected and not talk about it, and not talk, and we taking it once. You know what I'm saying? Aspect of it as well, Black and Jay, is that we come out on the other side of a pandemic, we're locked up in the house. That never happened in the history of us being on Earth. That now we go on the other side. I know, COVID has affected me psychologically, and I had to go get through it. So let alone how couples were going through, and then what if the couples were getting sick, or one guy and was down low sick, but they got brought back to life, and the spouse saw her husband or her wife to going down all the way to almost to the brink of death. So that's something to think about as well. On that. Black, you hear me? You with me?
Yeah, I just feel like
Black, you with me?
Yeah, you just can't hear me. The deal is, I just think
I can hear you. I can hear you.
It'll be less domestic violence if we choose our mates better. I just feel like we got to take more time to choose our mates. Just because you have children together don't mean you have to be together. And I put up on my wall on my Facebook, I put on what is a sign to leave? And majority of the people said when the guy first raises his hand, or the person, male or female, first raised their hand at you. But then you have one that said, soon as somebody argue, soon as the man raises his voice. And I'm like, that's a little kind of extreme. That's a little extreme, because you get angry, that's a form of expression. You know what I'm saying? But she said if he raises his voice, that's a red flag, trying to get out the relationship. I don't know what type of relationship she used to. I'm like, that person just need to kind of stay out of it. And but
you need
I just feel like,
because relationship's not easy. You got two egos.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. And I mean, it's easier when you like your mate. It's a lot easier when you love your mate. It's more easy when your mate is your best friend, because you don't want to hurt your best friend. And that's what I preach to all the people that come to me with their relationship issues. You have to like that person. I mean, and in marriage, you have to love them in marriage, because you're not going to always like that person. I love you, but today I don't like you. You're going to go through moments where you just don't like your spouse. That's just, realistically speaking, I don't give a damn what they say. You're going to have moments where you do not like your spouse. But if they're your best friend, or they're your close friend, and you love them, it's when we say don't like, it's a different hit. You know what I'm saying? But anybody who sits on here and say, well, they like their spouse every day of the week, 24/7. No, it's gonna be moments when that person, y'all disagree on something. It's gonna be moments when you guys is not gonna see eye to eye on things, and that's expected. And like an old man said, if you find somebody that agree with everything you do, somebody bullshit. So
that's right. Because relationships, you got two egos. You egos together. I know when my brother got married, him and his wife, and I see in a lot of ceremonies, they got those candles. They got those 3 candles, and they had those little cups that they put the light out, and then the candle in the middle is the one they keep lit. So it was representing putting out your ego, you denying yourself. You talk to me about that all the time. You like, man, you gonna have to really deny yourself, put away your ego, and you got to compromise sometimes.
The
it may
king,
be something that she like to do, you may not like to do.
the king of compromising is just talk, don't touch.
Yeah.
Right.
He had to compromise. If you would have seen what the women the level of education, money, car, everything that this man had in order for a woman to be his mate.
Right. Right. Right.
It's like passing the ball.
Right. Come on now.
And he realized.
So you say it had to be some compromise.
He had to say, okay, let's realistically speaking here. Let me alter some things.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
because when he used to tell me his rules and his what he's expecting, what he's looking for, I said, hold up now. Yeah, hold up. I said, yeah, you ain't gonna find it. You're not in one person. You're not. So his standards was too high. They couldn't even drive no damn Honda Accord, whatever year it was. If it was 2012, they couldn't have no 2012 Honda Accord.
Right.
Now you're going too far.
Hey, now you didn't like that. You was like, what you did you think about trading that car in? I'll give you the down payment.
No. I mean, but
this dude gave away a Honda Accord. Don't play with me. I don't want to get too personal.
Come on,
but
come on now.
The thing is,
come on now.
You have your standards. You have what you want, and then if you go against those, then you are settling in some senses. And sometimes, and that's why a lot of those relationships don't work out. I mean, you can't be too stringent on so many things, but you have your standards. You have what you like. You have what you want, and to go below those things or not get the majority of those things, then you're doing a disservice to that person because you're not going to fully be into them. I mean,
we understand the standard part, but with them having to have a 4.3 in Harvard, driving a BMW with a making 80,000 plus a year, that was a little stringent.
No,
when you say that,
it wasn't me. So the only thing that I wanted was someone that had at least the bachelor's, at least making $50,000 a year,
right?
And driving. I mean, I don't care what they drive. You can drive.
You just weren't gonna ride in.
But it's the way that you carried yourself. I wanted a person that carried themselves a certain way, and to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. So.
But the car, the amount of money and all that ended up not really being a deal breaker. But you still have your standards on how they carry themselves. Now, that's what I say, morals. Someone who has self-respect, which I think, and this is a totally different topic. Right. That's what's going to make dating hard today, because when you came from an era where women were praised as the mother of civilization, Black real queens, as we looked up. They cared about their bodies. The body was the temple. They wasn't defiling it with drugs. They wasn't showing off to every person on social media and in the street what goods you going home to.
But they are mothers of civilization. But they are good mothers of civilization. They
are, but they're not behaving like the queens that we used to see. They don't care. It's exactly what I do what I want to do. We living in a I do what I want to do age.
Society. Mm-hmm. You know? Right. That's right. That's right.
I do what I want to do.
Right.
You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
I don't care what nobody
No,
says.
you
This is me.
you can't have that in a relationship.
If I want to, if I want to go to Walmart half naked, I can do that because I'm my own person.
But some guys like that. Some guys like their women to do
That's
that.
what I say. A lot of them like that.
Women to show
And,
off.
and, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But the only difference with that though, nowadays, is it's not that healthy because that person already has more access due to social media. So you out there, and then men don't respect men the way they used to back in the day. It was rare back in the day, but at least back in the day, they'll say, "Oh man, you talking to him? Oh, you got somebody." We were taught to look for a ring on the finger. If we seen a ring on the finger, that was instant turn off. You don't give a damn how beautiful she was. Man, I seen the most beautiful woman I ever want to see. Man, damn, she had a ring on her finger. Now it don't matter. So it's more disrespect out there. So yeah, let them guys keep letting their women run out there half-ass naked. And then when that dude come up there that's able to whip his ass, and because he want his woman, there's gonna be a totally different situation. Back in the day, they kind of respected who you had to a degree. The haters used to say, well, if he gets caught slipping, give me a call. Let me know if you catch him slipping. That's what they used to say back in the Gap. That was the hater move back in the Gap. Now it's, hey, I just want to be your friend. Do your man allow you to have friends?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know I could do this and that and that. It's no respect. Wow. So let him like his woman walking off half-ass naked and every guy checking her out and guys want to be in a DM and then they having problems at home and he slide in that DM and then they run up. I bet if we Google killings and abuse that way, where that woman, a guy tried to holler at the woman and the man killed him for messing with his wife or messing with his live-in girl, girlfriend, we gonna find tons of that too, because men don't respect men.
But that's all in the domestic numbers. That's the aspect of.
Okay.
See, a lot of the domestic violence numbers just across the. So, but now you're looking at. See, and when we tell women you dress like this, don't dress like that, it's not the first of all, it's to really just show your level of respect to who you are if you're a mother.
No, they not gonna dress like no nun. Just because they married, just because they have children, that don't mean they're gonna dress like no nun.
Just dress conservative. Dress like no nun, but you dress conservative because what's happening, you're gonna put your husband or your man in harm's way by doing that. So if he's a wolf, here it is. If his a man come by, say something to her, okay, you let that whoop the whoop. But you got some men nowadays that come up and feel your old lady in front of you. You date that nowadays. They'll come up against you to see what's happening, and here it is. If he got a gun or he got a gun, it's some gunplay because she decides she wanted to do what she want to do. It's not that we trying to lord over you and strangle you, but stranglehold and make you a nun and put you in a burqa. We're not doing that. But in the way of dressing is a language. So if I walk into a store and I have a police uniform on, I may be going to a function as a policeman, but I can walk in the store if nobody knows that about me. People can assume that I'm a policeman. They can run up, come to my help because your dress is a language. And it's attached. So when you dress like that and you're dressing provocative, you may not be a hoe, but the way you're dressing can send signals to men to say, hey, I can go get that. If she's showing her body, we can see her breast, we can see her bra, we can see her panties. And he's walking with her. I'm finna go try to test that because she look. It's a lot of safety reasons that we gotta learn to respect each other because the way society.
My thing is, who has the problem though?
Sometimes you may not come back home because you done shot somebody or somebody done shot you, and it all dealing with respect. So as women, you got to look out. If your man is to look out for him and say, hey, I'm going to dress conservative because we both of us need to go home. And I don't want him going, and I don't want to get raped. I don't want him going to prison for protecting me or dying in that line of fire. So
because people are disrespectful these days. But but Jay wanted to say something. He had a question for you. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, but who has the issue? Who has the issue? So you're saying that a woman can't wear what she wants to wear, and a man can't allow his woman to wear what he wants her to wear or what she wants to wear because of someone else's mindset, because someone else cannot control them.
No, man, you dealing, Jay, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people in a six. The object is for both of us to come home. So in this society, we got to move in society accordingly. Some people have guns on them. Some people have. This is the society we live in. And as an individual, you grown, you can do what you want to do, but if consequences come for doing what you want to do, that's on you. Now, if you choose to not address that with your wife, and you choose not to do that, that's fine. You do what you do. But if I love my wife ain't going out in public with a miniskirt on, with a panty showing, with a bra showing. That's not gonna happen because you want to address where.
Let me ask another question.
That's where the conversation comes. Now let me say this. That's where the conversation at the beginning saying, hey, this, that, and the third. This is what I do with each other. So the type of woman to do that, I may not be the type of man you want because I believe in a woman dressing respectful.
Well, an incident that happened,
so she can be respected.
An incident that happened down here with that when I was DJing at this club. This lady was in there and she was dressed where her breast and everything was showing.
Yeah,
she was loud that night. Every guy was walking around looking at her. A boyfriend was sitting at the table. She was standing up at the table. He's sitting in a bar stool. They have the bar thing, and guys in there drinking, they smoking, popping their pills, and then a guy ran over there and he grabbed her butt. And the girl looked at him and, slapped his hand. And then the guy looked at him. He said, I'm just trying to see, is it real? And then the guy was like, yeah, but you don't come putting your hands on my woman. And a big ass fight broke out. They cut the lights on, pepper sprayed and all that. Because of how she was dressed, him and that guy got into it. They were shooting outside. All because this guy touched that man's woman. She wore what she wanted to wear.
Yeah.
They went out and they had a good time, but the guy ended up, I don't know whether, he went to the hospital or what, but I just know they were fighting and we heard gunshots outside when they moved everybody outside. And it was because he touched her butt and the guy felt like he had to defend.
Okay, so what happens? There have been nuns that have been raped. There have been people in the nursing homes that have been raped.
Right.
Old
the difference
people,
in that,
kids.
But that's not in all cases.
If you look that up, it's more women being raped that's asking for it.
How they?
If you even in the movie,
that say, "Hey, come get this pussy." Come
take in the movie. They even got movies about. No. They'll be like a guy would rape a woman, and he'll say, well, here you walking around here like that, you must be asking for it.
Okay, so that's the man's that man's demented mind.
Right.
But Jay, it's a lot of men with the same mindset in the world, so you got to mitigate.
It's worse
We're
now.
not saying that it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Because men don't respect men.
You just got to mitigate. Yeah, you got to
Okay,
mitigate
so
it as much as possible.
all right.
Safe.
So in Germany, when I was over there, women walked around with their tops off all the time.
That's their culture.
Right. So
Right.
what are you saying?
That's their culture.
Okay, that means that in Rome you do as Rome. Over here, the hookers and whores, you used to have to go. I know what you're getting at. It. The world has changed. I understand everything you're saying, but on the same note, view both sides. When you wanted to see in the early 2000s, when you wanted to see ass and titties, where do you go?
Well, hell, now you can still go. You can.
We ain't talking about that ain't the question. I said we ain't talking about now. In the late in the 90s, in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, when you wanted to see ass and titties, where did you go?
I mean, you went to Magic City.
Okay. You went to Magic City. Today you don't. Okay. It was a reason why they had strip clubs. It was a reason why the strip clubs made so much money. Because if a man wanted to see the nipples and butt cheeks and maybe some cat hair, he go to the strip club. Now you can just go to any function. Now you can go to Walmart. Now you can go to the mall. Now you can just walk outside.
Okay, well, shouldn't that mean that your mentality change? If you can see it all the time, it should become normalized to you. You shouldn't have to want it as bad.
But think about the guy who's sitting at home that can't get none, and he see that right in front of him. The many men.
Okay, so
men are not getting sex on the regular like you think. So just imagine he sitting at home, he beats off whatever.
Yeah.
So you're talking about people with deviant minds. So that's what you're talking about. You're talking about people with deviant minds and deviant hearts. Because either one of you, if y'all see a chick that's walking around with half naked or whatever, are you gonna attempt to rape her?
You know,
but because like number one, but you got people that listen, you got like that, man, and to protect your wife, protect your favorite guns. They not
it's kind of like
that everybody come up to them.
You're not gonna
carry a gun.
It's kind of like if you're walking around with gasoline on you and you giving somebody a match. You know, you're giving somebody a match. So it's like,
okay, all right. So what should women wear? What should they wear so they can be safe?
I mean, they can wear.
We're talking about being conservative. But you come on, Jay. You smart. You smarter.
I am.
Jay, you smart as all I know. You know.
Smart. So, but everyone has different.
So it's okay for your wife, James, or your mate, whoever you dating. You cool with them wearing clothes like Sierra had on.
Well, I choose not to date someone like that. But I choose not to date someone like that. But my wife has worn tight clothing.
We ain't talking about tight clothes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
We talking about
the clothes that Sierra had on. Clothes showing her ass cheeks. Clothes showing her nipples.
Vagina. Her vagina.
Okay, so what's conservative?
The camel toe. The camel conservative is wearing something that's not revealing, not too revealing. That's what it is for the safety of my family. For the safety of my family, can't make her shape out in? No, women gonna have shapes, but as far as you, because like I said earlier,
yeah, if she wearing something that complement her curves, like those little body dresses that they wear, that's one thing. But if she wearing a body dress, if she wearing a body dress, and you can see the bottom of her ass cheek. The apple bottom of the cheek where you can walk up there and want to spank it, and then she got the the nipple,
she has on
the edge of the nipple showing in the middle of the split shirt, the nipple showing.
But Jay, you wouldn't even date them type of. Why wouldn't you date them type of women that dress like that?
Because I choose not to date someone
why
that
wouldn't he?
shows her body off like that. Because that's not what I like.
Shows her body off like that. That's not what you like. Why you don't like that?
Because that's not what I like. Some people don't care about what you like.
What is the conclusion that drew for you that you didn't like a woman that dressed like that?
Because what I am at
but it's
home
something. It's a reason why. It's a reason why.
No, yeah, I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what my reason is. What I am privileged to at home, I do not want it advertised for the community.
Right.
I am not marrying community.
And that's the same thing. And that's the same thing that every other man
not every relationship. You can't say that. You can't say that.
Listen to me. Basic morals. If this woman loves me and care about me, basic morals is hey, I'm gonna protect his flanks. I'm gonna protect her. She gonna protect me. So if that I could dress down a little conservative, we're not talking about dressing just you looking. We're talking about dressing nice, but you conservative at the same time because you want to protect your family. You want to get home that night. You want to make sure you're straight. That's all it is.
It still doesn't guarantee that some deviant.
No, we're not talking about the guarantee. We're not talking about the guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
We're talking about there's no guarantee.
If someone wants to take someone's pussy, then that's what they're going to try to do because that is in their mind and in their
right. But it's one thing, just like when we say, if you pull out a gun, you better use it. Just like the person who advertised that they have a gun. The fact that they're advertising they have a gun, if somebody get into it with them, they're going to say, well, we know he got a gun. So when they get into it with you, they're not going to bring a knife to a gunfight. They're going to come with a gun. So if your woman is advertising her body, if she's advertising, this is what I'm working with. I'm saying, not just showing no shape. That ain't what I call advertising the body. Advertising the body like Sierra was doing. And the other people that participated in that little party, the nude party thing. You're advertising just like the woman who dressed like that and she catches our attention and we end up sleeping with her. Then we go on and when we marry somebody, she's conservative. And then she's on social media all being a dogs because everybody just screwed her because when they seen her, she was advertising my body, my sex. So when you advertise that, you have a bigger chance of being used than, for your body instead of a man respecting your person or your mind because you advertised your body.
Well,
and then when we screw them and move on, but 2 or 3 times, and then we move on to the next, we use them. Let her tell it. We ain't no good.
Again,
but all you advertise, bring it to the table.
So what you're saying is a woman should wear bag of sweatshirts and sweatpants.
If I just said ain't nothing wrong with them wearing a body dress, I said if they're showing the bottom of their ass cheeks, they titties all out where you seeing the brownness of their nipples, they're advertising, they're dressing slutty, is what I said. I said, you said, well, she want to show off her shape. I say, there's nothing wrong with her showing off her shape. I say it's when it gets to the point where they're showing, when the split go down and you can see down to see the nipple, the brown nipple. If she raised her arm up like this, the nipple pop out. If she walking, you seeing the bottom, the apple bottom, the bottom of the ass. That's what I'm talking about. But just because she wearing a nice body dress or something that complements her curves, that's not what we're talking about when I say.
But why do we have to limit those women for whatever reason they are doing it? Whether it's whether it's for attention, whether it's to grab the dudes that like that type of
Yeah.
person. Maybe she wants to show off whatever her body is and however it is.
But same reason you said you don't want no man knowing what your goods in the bedroom.
You
so
right.
You contradict.
No, I'm not contradicting myself.
Okay.
I said that's what I choose. But there are other people out there that choose different.
Right. And we fine with that. We're just saying that when you asked what did we consider, you put on the panel, what did we consider inappropriate when you're married? When you're married. Now, if men want their women to floss and dress free, we got no problem with that. But if a man grip that ass or touch her in a certain way, and you have to put the dukes up and defend her honor because he called her a slut or whatever, that's to each his own. And it's not a lot of men these days, because of drugs, the self-control thing is easy to say, but when them cowards get that liquor, get them pills, get that dope, get that coke in their system, they feel that they're invincible, and they'll see your girl and say, "Damn, man, you a fine motherfucker," And then that guy just standing there.
Regardless, if your girl looks nice, whether she's dressed conservative or not, if my girl goes out in a outfit that complements her body, she's still covered up.
Right.
And
I'm saying when them little lame dudes, I feel with you. I know where you're going. But when that lame dudes get that liquor, get them drugs or whatever in his system, they tend to want to say more than what's needed to be said. And if you're with her, especially with your temper, especially with your title, just talk but don't touch. That joker touch on her ass and say you a bad MF. You just gonna say, well, she's complimenting her body, so that's her.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying no. That's not gonna happen. But what I'm stating is, again, you can use whatever drugs, alcohol, whatever reasoning you want to put out there. People, even in their sober minds, will still attempt to talk to your girl. If
when you talking about that was disrespect.
I'm just
him
saying,
touching your woman.
I mean, if you look like the type of guy that's going to let somebody come up and talk to your girl,
but no. When they get on drugs, they're not looking at you; they see her. I'm telling you from what I know, because I DJ in these clubs, and I know guys that's cowards, that's scared, that ain't shit, that's scary. I know them, and then I know guys who knock their ass off. But and the guy know that the guy knock him off. So he stares at his woman for weeks at a time. Then when that right drug is in his system and he feeling good, he feeling right, he'll take that ass whip.
Well, he'll be taking one.
But that's what they do.
Yeah, you're not gonna disrespect. You're not gonna disrespect my wife. That's what you're not going to do.
Well, like I say, these days, guys don't respect.
People
my girl was explaining to me how to let women, how to let guys down. Because, back in the day, your woman just say, hey, I'm married, leave me alone. It ain't about that now. These guys are stalkers. They still gonna try to be friendly. Then they gonna be like, F you, and they'll try to hurt them. And then Tyler Perry even putting movies out showing how the black man's behavior is toward women that try to turn them down. So now I have a daughter. So now we got to show her a certain way to turn guys down when they approach it now, because saying, I don't want you, I'm not interested, she can get jumped on, she can get beat up, she can get kidnapped, she can get anything. So we got to find a new way to do things now, because the world is so tormented now. There's no respect, and people doing what they want to do. It's deeper than her wearing clothes, showing off her body, showing her titties, showing her butt, showing a cat. It's getting deeper than that. It's right. Like, because if she turn them down, she's looking good. She dressing up, she fine. Guys step to her. A guy gonna step to her that's on that shit or don't give a damn, and he gonna say some stuff, try to touch on a certain way. She gonna end up having to try to kill him. She gonna have to call the police. She gonna call you. You know, it's just, you know, you just gotta say, is it worth all that? I mean, if she wearing curvy stuff and she with you, and you know y'all doing your thing, I just think a lot of that stuff need to be done before they say I do. A lot of it, not all. Even if she wears something that complements the body, wear something respectful that complements the body. You know, but if she, you know, usually if they with who they want, she would wear that stuff mainly with her husband, because she know if somebody step out of line and try to disrespect, he got her back. Even though women nowadays feel like they can whoop the average nigga's ass, but on the way realistically speaking, the right man gonna beat the hell out of the average woman, no matter how bad she is, but what combat she took, what military branch she was in. If she run across the right nigga, a nigga gonna whoop her ass.
Well, yeah, anybody can get whooped on any given day.
Any given day, yeah. Especially a woman going up against a man. Because even them transvestites, them trannies, they'll tell you in a minute, I was a man first. And I done seen one or two of them tell the shit out of niggas we thought was bad.
I've seen that happen too, right in the barbecue parking lot.
But
the thing is, rather than trying to police the dress of women and their right to express themselves in their dress and however they choose to, we need to start addressing the mental and emotional men out there that can't control themselves, that have these impulses, which they try to that they don't try to get help for, knowing that they need to. We need to start trying to police those people, just like they're trying to police people with that have the ability to get weapons or get guns. So we need to start trying to talk to the mentality of these men, so-called men, that feel
rape
like,
because I bet if we Google rape, it's at an all-time high because of how the women are dressing now. Attempted rape.
Rape has been around for
that's why I said increasing.
Time.
That's why I said increasing. I bet it has increased.
Well, it may be increasing not because of the way women dress, but the way that men sexualize women.
The way they sexualize themselves.
No.
I can pull up my social media page right now, and you know how they show you the storyline? All you see is a woman in the back clapping that ass.
Right.
If I scroll through out of 20 that they showing,
because she's selling
17 gonna be a woman with her back showing clapping that ass.
Because she's selling something. She's trying to sell something.
She ain't selling nothing. She ain't getting a dime for it. She's showing it out. She ain't getting no dime for that.
Yeah, so she's trying to sell whatever she's not for economic gain. I'm saying she's trying to sell whatever she's trying to sell. She's trying to sell, bringing her self-esteem up. She's trying to sell, getting these likes. She's trying to sell whatever it is she's trying to sell. That's right. What she's doing.
So that still is a form of sexualizing.
It's being sexual, but the man sexualizes the woman, gaining these fantasies in their minds.
And I think that's gonna be a good topic. That's gonna be a good topic. So we're gonna go deeper into that, because that's a deep topic. But I feel what you're saying. Showing your curves and extending your body is not the same as dressing slutty. It's a difference. And but yeah.
No, I mean, I understand that there's a difference. I understand that you and I don't go for women that like to show their buttocks, that that like to show their breast off, that like to show their body as a display of their
attention
sexiness.
getter. Right.
In that form. But again, we have to start addressing the mentality and the attitude of men that feel like they can come and take these women in any way that they want to, just because they choose to dress how they choose to dress. When you go to the beach, how should they dress?
In beach clothes. If you have women that's married that goes to the beach, that's conservative, she'll have on a bathing suit and they'll have a netted looking thing tied around their waist and they're in the pool enjoying themselves. They not walking around in no two-piece showing the crack of their ass, looking at a two-piece that look like a thong, and run around there with a thing top that's barely closing up because their titties out.
However,
it's a way that some people chooses to respect their mate or feel like I'm a parent, I'm a husband, I'm a wife. Some women still value that. Some, not many these days, but there are some women who say, I'm not dressing like this because, you know, when we go to the beach, I see women with fishnet looking things on with a bathing suit up under there. And we pretty much know either she don't want nobody looking at her body. And these not all fat women. It's women that's nicely curved that wears that. You know, mine ain't walking around no damn two-piece where you seeing everything. That she feels uncomfortable. But like you say, but I don't knock what the next person do. But when you go to the beach, there are ways to dress that's respectful where that woman can still enjoy herself at the beach. She don't have to be showing everything.
But again, if she chooses to wear a one piece or a two piece without a wrap, then that's her choice. She should be able to do that.
At the end of the day, it's all of everybody's choices. It's up to that individual, that male, that woman, that husband, that wife, of what they allow or feel is respectful for that mate to wear. It don't matter what I say, you say, Jay say, the person across the street. It don't matter because people they're going to do what their spouse allow them to do.
And then it's also up to that man that's out there all googly eyed over some other.
We can't control them.
No, they have to control themselves.
No matter how much we preach and try to, like you say, teach them, they ain't trying to listen to us, man. They gonna do what they want to do, and they got that 9mm, that tool to put you to rest if you step out of line.
And you're exactly right, and that's why I have 45. But the point is that if someone gets fixated on a person, no matter how they're dressed, how they conduct themselves, if they get fixated on a person and they have that type of mindset that they want to try to rape this person,
you got to half-ass kill them.
No, you have to kill them. I'm sorry. You would have to protect whomever you're with by any means necessary.
Right. And like I said, we're gonna go deeper. That's a deep topic there. That's deep. And we're gonna probably get a lot of mixed views, especially the single women. But when I talk, like I said, I usually do worst case scenario with married people or people that I know in deep relationships. I create a worst case scenario. What I believe in and what I do, that's just between me and mine. But when I speak on here, I'm mostly doing worst case scenario on people that's in deep relationships, married couples, and different things like that. But the bottom line on ignoring the signs, I hate to see all of this domestic violence, especially when it hit home, when it happened with the couple in Baxter who wedding, I did the wedding and I knew both of them personally, where we used to talk on the phone. They used to come to the parties. I used to the guy was actually cousins to my brother's brother. So it's like I knew this couple.
Right.
And when I found out who did that, it was, I can't describe the feeling that I had because they were young. She was hella young. She, and her image
How old was she, Black?
was so pure. She had to been about 28, maybe. And he probably was 32.
Young.
But she was just beginning to live life, you know what I'm saying? And her image was so good, in school she was, made good grades, star stepper. She was good people, and she wasn't known, and she really loved this guy. He just was. We found out that he was jumping on her. A close friend, right before the death, when they got into it, and he caught her in the hotel room. She was saying that everybody looking at her, but they don't know what she was going through. And come to find out, he was jumping on her, and he was tying her up in the room, jumping on her. He was doing a lot of crazy stuff, and we didn't know. The public didn't know because she wasn't saying much. And then the person, I think she went to work and met this guy who she started telling their business, and they ended up getting kind of close. And he tracked her down and caught her at the hotel. And then, like 2 weeks later, he followed her and caught up with her in the streets and just gunned her down. Chased her in the car and killed her. But when he first started being violent, if she would have got out of that relationship when she got out of that, once she escaped the first beating, why do they go back is the problem I got. Okay, like they say he was constantly jumping on her. Why did she constantly keep going back? And I understand what Dr. Kathy Johnson Leonard said, the low self-esteem, the insecurities. I understand that. But at what point do you say, this is my life? And they had children. Well, at what point do you say, this is my life and I have to be here for my children, so I got to get out of this relationship? Because they say she would leave and come back.
Yeah,
that's the problem I got. Because even with this couple, I'm sure she left or he left, but they still stayed together. I don't get it.
They come back with the hopes of, okay, things are going to be different. Things are going to be different. You keep giving a person
how many times
over and over. Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. You keep giving this person a chance over and over and over. And with the thoughts of you want this to work, and you don't know who else was in her ear, her mom, her friends, his mom, or whomever. Right. And putting pressure on her to try to stay with this person, and rather than her saying, no, I don't care what you say, or who says, I'm leaving. I am putting myself first. I'm not going to allow myself to be tortured.
And since he's saying it like that, her folks were into the church. And the church, you're supposed to marry for life. And that may have been the issue. So I gotta tone down my thoughts of that, because I'm seeing it from my perspective, just leave. But everybody can't just do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, this podcast be a lot of, it's therapeutic to me, because I learned a lot about myself, and I changed a lot about the way I think from listening to people like you who've seen other things happen. But I didn't see it like that. I just figured when you're grown, you do what you want. That your family and friends shouldn't have that much control over what you say or do, because it's your life. But it depends on how much influence, like you say, that her friends, family, and people she's in close contact with. Because I didn't get why she kept going back. And the person who was defending her honor after the death, she was like, I got text messages right now showing when he did this to her, when he jumped on her, when he tied her up, when he did this. Now, like, damn, well, why the hell did she keep going back? You know? So I see it's deeper than just up and leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, and cause let me say something, Black, that I had a family member that was in a domestic violence relationship. And a lot of times the guy, he was violent. He'll come track her down wherever she at. She could be at her house. She had to hide with her children. You know what I'm saying? And some men, they go to that extreme. They and go track that woman down and hurt that woman, ultimately kill that woman. That's how some people are. You got some women that'll do the same thing. You got some women that will they doing. We hear the stories of the murder. So it's not from people when people can go to that level with you, because I've seen it firsthand how the guy was looking. He was all over the city for my family member because he wanted her to come home. She had to call the police, get a restraining order. That didn't stop. He still was coming at her. And it
but at the end of the day, Jay,
you know, he had to get locked up. He had to get locked up behind that.
What did she do that had him doing it?
Well, you know, sometimes there doesn't have to be anything that a person does to have someone to do something. So let me speak from experience.
Yeah.
So
you talking about my could you
No, I'm saying just women, period. We always talk about the end result. But if that woman is known for sneaking around, that guy known for being with Sheila when he married to Tanya, and Tanya chasing him down to the hotel,
like
we don't know.
No, my family member.
We on the outside looking in.
My family member.
We don't know what text messages he saw.
Yeah, but
I feel what you're saying, but we never know. Realistically speaking, we don't really know what. If it wasn't going on at first, and all of a sudden it's going on, 8 times out of 10, you always got 9 and 10.
No, you got. He had a history of domestic violence. Just with her, I mean, he had a history of domestic violence. So all the women couldn't have been doing nothing to him. You got some people that are violent.
I got a partner right now that we both, all of us know on this panel, and every woman he had messed over him.
Yeah, but she didn't mess over him. She loved him. She wanted to marry him, and he mistreated. He didn't trust her. For some reason, he didn't trust her. And my family, knowing her and being around her, she had good morals and good standards. So,
right.
So no, it ain't always the
what
woman's
you saying. What you were saying, Jay?
I was going in that lane. Go ahead, because I'm up here cooking.
So what I was about to state was from personal experience growing up. My mom stayed in an abusive relationship until my stepfather died, and she endured that from as long as I can remember. So from kindergarten, just seeing how she withstood all of the beatings, and these were like brutal beatings. Even where we had rocks in the driveway or whatever, and he pushed her head down in the rocks, and he worked at the paper mill, so he had that paper knife, which is pretty much a razor, and just start grinding it into her jaw.
No.
You know, and where they end up going to bed the same night. with her face battered and bruised, black eyes, swollen face, and I never understood how you can look at someone that you just beat like that and go to bed with them the same night and wake up the next morning like nothing occurred, like her face isn't hanging off, you know.
Wow, man, I ain't know that. That's deep.
Yeah. So, you know, and but it was mutual combat. They fought each other. I remember her ironing clothes one morning before school. They got into it. She took the iron and stuck it on his face. And I mean, and when he pulled back, you just see burnt skin on the iron. You know, so I remember those days. So
You were saying some stuff, boy.
yeah. So what made her stay? I don't know. To this day, I don't know. Because she was self-sufficient. She was able to get a job. She had a job, but for whatever reason, I guess she became comfortable in that situation where it just became a part of life. And to me, that is a a mental or emotional defect where you allow yourself to to be conformed into such a violent life when you don't really have to.
So it's love,
Wow, that's
but
heavy. That's heavy.
but they fight and try to kill each other too.
I can't even say it's love. I can't say it. I can't say it's love because I don't think love would allow you to do that to each other. So there is some type of emotional something emotional there, and then there's another level of need on top of that. So I don't know what she felt
She was
like.
married to him.
Yeah, this was yeah. So they were married. So I don't know if it was because he worked at the paper mill and she felt like, you know.
I'm thinking it may be a little of all of that, but like Dr. Kathy Johnson Leonard said, back in the day, they valued their marriage vows. They honored them.
No, because at the same time, I mean, people say that, but at the same time, they're out cheating. So you can't honor your vows on one part and not the other.
But maybe that's the part that they honored was not leaving, not getting a divorce. Because
There's
Big
no
Mama them said in the Bible,
you
you
can't
don't
serve
supposed
two
to get a
masters.
divorce. You don't
You
supposed
can't
to
serve
get a
two
divorce.
masters. You can't serve two masters. So
Hey, fellas, that's
You
my
know,
time.
you gotta
Y'all go
go.
ahead. Y'all keep it going. Y'all keep
All right,
it
now
going.
what you saying, Jay?
I'm saying you can't serve two masters. So you can't on one hand say, hey, you know, I'm honoring all of these vows and I'm not honoring these. You know, that's not what you do. That's not how you do that. That's not how it works.
Is that real?
So,
Hey,
What's happening?
what's going on, Park?
Long time.
I know. How you been, brother?
Chilling. This the therapist. We try to figure out why that they stay in these abusive relationships. And Just Talk, Don't Touch has stated that he witnessed his mom stay with her husband, and they was having throwdowns. Where I'm talking about, he say she put the iron on his face. He stuck a paper knife in her jaw, and she still stayed with him. They woke up the next morning like nothing happened. And we're trying to figure out what makes these people stay in these toxic, terrible, we don't supposed to be together, we fighting, we stabbing each other. And I was like, is it love or, because money, I can't see it being the money. When we was just trying to figure out with Just Talk, Don't Touch, he was wrapping up on why he could never figure out why his mom stayed in it. And he said he don't think it was love, but then Dr. Kathy Johnson Leonard has stated back in the day, people honored their marriage vows. So if the marriage vows was like, we're not getting divorced through rich or for poor, through, good times and bad, whatever they going through, they stayed in it. But he was saying that if somebody, if it's love, they can't, if it's honoring the marriage vows, they can't honor the not break up part, but yet they can try to kill, fight and kill each other. So, we just trying to figure out when these people get these signs, when they get that first beat down, they get that second beat down, they get that first threat, they get that first gun pulled on them, they get the police called on them 2 and 3 times. Why do you keep going back after that first beat down? I'm gonna say after the third, because I understand the first time you piss them off, you know what you did. You went out there, you cheated. You came home, she put that black skillet across your head. Y'all battled it out. Y'all stayed together. Okay.
Yeah.
Then that trust factor is broken though. So then after that, you guys get into it again. You find out she talking to one of your coworkers. And then when she come home, you show her the text, you get her phone, show her the text message, you snap, you jump on her. Now y'all both have done it. And now it's every other week y'all fussing and fighting about something. Why can't you just say, you're not gonna do right? I'm not making you happy. Let's just walk away. Why do they stay in it to one end up killing the other one or crippling or why you're a therapist. Why do you think they can't just walk away after so many ass whoopings?
Well, the thing about that is this. If all you know is dysfunction, all you're going to be comfortable with is dysfunction. If you were raised in dysfunction, dysfunction seems normal to you. This is why sometimes when women who are raised in dysfunction meet a guy who's not dysfunctional, they don't like him because they can go through his phone, they can go through his email. There's nothing there to get him so he can get caught up. So in a sense, he's boring to them. There's nothing dysfunctional there. And the second part of that is the reason why women stayed back then is because, not saying women didn't have college degrees back then, because a lot of them did. But today, the women who have the college degrees, they actually earn the salary to where they can easily walk away from the dude. They ain't got to sit there and keep getting their butt kicked by this guy. They could just go because majority of the time she is the breadwinner and she makes more than him anyway. Majority of the time, just depending on the situation. But that's what it boils down to. Dysfunction, recognize dysfunction. Like the old people say, in the South, when we are in the South, everybody's spirit recognized each other's spirit. That's why dysfunctional people keep running to dysfunctional people. And when they run to somebody who's not dysfunctional, it seems foreign to them. And they don't want to have nothing to do with it. They're like, you know what? The woman be like, you know what? He's too easy. He's a pushover. I don't like him. Or even guys be like, man, I don't like her. This old bougie girl. She's a Delta or some kind of whatever. I don't want to be dealing with her and all her little college friends and all this crap. Where the hood chicks at? Because that's what he's accustomed to. Vice versa, that's what she is accustomed to.
That's probably what Just Talk, Don't Touch. Did seeing that change your thoughts of women, Jay? The way you wanted your relationship? Is that why your standards are where they are?
Well, in a sense, yeah.
I didn't know it got that deep. I knew they argued and threw wine glasses across the room, but I didn't know it got as deep. You just messed my head up with that.
Yeah. So so you can take what you see in your environment and either you can go towards that or you can reject it. So what I chose to do was reject that. I rejected drugs. I rejected alcohol. I rejected physical and verbal abuse. Although there have been situations where those things have occurred in my life experience. But what it did teach me to do is to walk away from those situations and not to return, because those situations would continue.
The cycle.
Yeah, the cycle will continue with those people that you're in those relationships with. So you have to have the mentality to walk away from any situation that could eventually result in physical injury, mental or emotional harm.
Have you ever had to do that because she wanted you to put her hands on her and you didn't choose to go that route? And so no matter how much you loved her, you had to walk away.
I don't know if it, well, so yeah, I have.
Even then, so you walked away with all you invested and everything, you just left.
Yeah, because my life is worth more than that. I am worth more than that. She is worth more than that. So it was a situation where we had invested a number of years. And although those situations weren't as frequent, as a lot of people situations are, it was still a situation that could eventually become even more toxic. And I chose not to move forward in the relationship, in the toxicity of the relationship, where it could result in someone being physically or emotionally harmed. So I walked away.
Yep, I've been in situations like that before as well. I had a girl. She thought I didn't love her because I didn't put hands on her, which was weird. Like, I don't want to beat you. I'm a big dude. And I'm pretty damn strong. What I look like whooping on somebody 5'1", 108 pounds? That make no sense. If I was to beat her out of anger, it's gonna be bad for her. So I wouldn't dare do that. And if I meet any woman who want to put me into that situation to where you're jeopardizing my freedom, because if I get a domestic violence and I go to court and they see a little dainty her, and they said big old dude like me, big arms, like, oh yeah, you did it, and yeah, we're gonna lock you up for a long time. Even if they don't lock me up, they're gonna put that DV on my record, and it's gonna be very difficult for me to get a job in my field. That's career suicide. So it's not even worth putting hands on these women today, because if you're a guy out here and you actually have something to lose, you're gonna lose it. Because you weren't disciplined enough to walk away. And I know a lot of scenarios where women make it very difficult for you to walk away, and they're gonna slap you upside the head and kick you and do all kind of crap. But at the end of the day, even though you did simp out a little bit, you have to walk away, because the court in the United States of America, I don't care what state you're in, it's going to be on the woman's side, especially if you're a brother. It's just the way it goes.
Wow. And so it's not as easy as just the men. You feel the man can walk away quicker than a woman can?
Most men, this is what happens, man. What's going on today in the 21st century? Over 80% of women walk away from their relationship or their marriage due to irreconcilable differences. Most men don't file for divorce. They want to hold on to the marriage and try to salvage it. But most women want to walk away because they think the grass is greener on the other side. The man not making them happy when you're supposed to make your own damn self happy, or they too busy listening to their single friends try to dictate how their marriage should go. And in a sense, they end up getting this divorce and sitting there monkey branching from different guy to different guy to different guy. Next thing you know, 10 years then pass by. Now she's 40, 50 years old, still thinking she's young, and gonna try to have that same swag that she thought she had when she was 20. No, ma'am, you're old and you have kids. So the guys who got all the money and all the resources, they usually not picking women like that. And that's what usually end up happening. They too busy listening to everybody else, or they too busy second guessing what they have going already when they already had it made. And they too busy trying to run around and do other stuff. because they too busy watching social media, or they too busy listening to their friends. You know, so what the brother was saying, just talk, don't touch. You know, I really I feel what he's saying, because it's, at the end of the day, it's really not worth it, man. It's just so much easier to just walk away, wash your hands. Trust me, bro. I have washed my hands of a few relationships to where I had invested all this cheese. We got houses together, all this shit. And at the end of the day, I was left holding the bag. But at the end of the day, I wanted my peace of mind. That was way more important to me to try to hold on to something that wasn't there.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
And that's the thing. People are afraid to start over. People get comfortable in whatever position that they're in.
Yes.
And they're afraid to walk away because they feel like they put all this investment into this person, and then they're thinking about things that may not even come to fruition. This person going on being happy with someone else.
Yep.
You rather stay and keep yourself miserable and this other person miserable, rather than starting over either by yourself or eventually moving on with someone else that can make you, well, I'm not going to say make you happy, but complete you in your happiness together. You don't know exactly. You don't know what you're missing out on.
Right, exactly.
But I think a lot of the people stay in those relationships too when children get involved. And, you know, like I had stated earlier on a post, our grandparents stayed in it because they had children. Some of our parents stayed in it. As soon as the children graduate high school, they run off and get a divorce because they tried to stay in it. So it'll be two parents in the household and different stuff like that. But today, with women being more educated, and like you say, they're getting the pay for being educated now, they're making the money now. I just don't see why, like the situation that went down with that killing in Mississippi. I don't see why people, with everybody having access to make money and stay, you know, be by themselves, why are they still choosing to do that in the 21st century when you can just say, hey, we not good for each other. I'm not going to come home fussing and fighting with you every day. You know, you ready to watch a ball game and she come in there picking with you because she ready to argue. At what point can you just say, this not for us? Because you're not staying in it for, back in the day, a lot of them, majority stayed in it for financial reasons. We was together since high school and we got these kids together and we know, so we might as well stay together. But now what's the reason? When everybody making money.
Even with that, some people are still saying that they're staying in a relationship because of the children, but what you're breeding is dysfunction into your children. And you're doing more harm to your children than you think.
I was thinking about that with that killing, because I heard how the kids were crying and screaming in the background when the guy got shot, and they thought their dad died. And I started thinking shortly after that, after the police said that it was several calls that they did with domestic violence issues in that relationship, I was like, so you guys together, y'all got these 3 or 4 kids, and y'all fussing, fighting, and everything in front of these kids till it led to one of them killing the other one. And it's like, I just didn't, you know, if you stand in it with the kids, you got to be doing those kids more damage than helping them when you do that, you know, when you stay in it. But we had a brother that came on here a while back who said he stayed with his wife knowing she was cheating. He stayed with her until the 2 kids got out of high school. And both of us was like, I'm not going to make myself miserable to stay in a relationship to raise some kids, because I have to have my sanity. So if that means I have to leave to get myself together, the kids just going to have to understand, because at the end of the day, if I'm broken, I can't build up my child. So I can't be in it. But he said the kids went on to college and everything was great, and he let the woman go, and you know, but it's an exception to every rule, just about. So it worked for him. But I'm kind of in agreement with what y'all saying. I'm not finna stay in no relationship for no children. because I feel like I'm doing them a disjustice because I can't be the 100% father that I know I can be, knowing that I'm upset, angry, mad, and every day when I come home because I'm with somebody I don't love, or I don't want to be with. And I just can't live like that. That's where your cancers come in. That's where your diabetes, that's where your sicknesses and all that come in at, because you're worrying, you're not happy. You isolating yourself and forcing yourself to be in something that's not healthy.
Right,
So,
I agree. I agree. Like that's why I stated earlier. At the end of the day, man, your peace of mind is way more important than anything on the world in the world. If you are a man, you know, and I have zero problems with starting over. You know, zero. I've started over several times. I don't want to start over. Trust me, it's hella expensive to start over, but I have started over a few times. And majority of the time when I do start over, I let her have everything.
I did that, and so did he did just touch, don't touch, don't talk, just talk, don't touch. How many times did you start over and bounce back? I mean,
Well, I mean, numerous. Too many
because he always preach he don't have a problem starting over.
too many times to count, because I'm not going to stay in a situation. I don't care how much time I've invested in this situation. If it's not for me, it's not for me. That time has run its course. That relationship, that situation has run
But
its
you
course.
do stretch it out though, right?
It's not. No, I let it end when it's supposed to end. There's only maybe one that I stretched out a little bit too far, trying to be the person that I am, thinking I can change people and change things and change situations, trying to be greater than myself. But at the end of the day, I always end up walking away when it's time to walk away.
See, I only did that one time. The walk away thing after so much was invested. I only did that one time. And I came out better because I believe I walk by faith. So I'm a spiritual type person. And when I walked away from mine, I got every blessing that I didn't even think about getting. Because long as I was in that relationship, it seemed like I couldn't win. Every time I tried to elevate, something would always knock me down, knock me down. But as soon as I got out of that relationship, all the blessings came. So it's like, I feel like when the creator don't want to bless the person you're with or connected to, your blessings will get cut, because if you're a good person, they're going to reap the benefits from your blessing.
Yes.
And so I never could get a break.
Yeah.
Soon as I got away from that person, I got everything 3 times, 4 times fold. And anything I think about needing or wanting, bam, it's there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't buy a break. So that was my experience of starting over. And I only, like I say, done that one time. But seems like you guys have done that more than once, and you guys cool with it,
3 times.
Get out of it and start over,
I have no problem with it. But the thing is, now that I know now, if I wish I'd have known what I know now 20 years ago. But the thing is that, you're young, you so focused on the booty and the breast and how good she looked and all this other stuff, but you didn't ever take the time out to discern who she is. You never took the time out to discern what type of spirit this person had. Or you didn't take the time out to learn their history, or to learn what triggers them and what doesn't. When you're young, you look at the booty like, man, shorty's fine, you know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing you focused on. When you start getting a little bit older, you're like, you know what? Yeah, she fine, but what else? And that's something that you learn with age. Unfortunately, the best teacher is experience.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, unless you had a man in your life that can give you that game, which is a lot of us in our community didn't have, unfortunately. But if some of us were fortunate enough to have a man or uncle or a father, whomever, to give us that game, hey, we was ahead of the game, and we already knew what to look for. But when you out here just trying to, go from the hip and trying to figure life out, man, you're gonna lose 10, 20 years before you even catch on to what the hell's going on. You know? And then I'm not, sitting here trying to bash all ladies, because it's not all women, but the thing about it is men, we are what? We're visual creatures. We like what we see. And women know this. But when you get a little older, okay, she fine, but like I just said, what else? What's she coming with? What's her conversation like? What's her ethics, morals, and values? What kind of characteristics she have? What type of behavior she has? All this stuff. So yeah, that's the difference between being a little bit older and being a little bit younger when it comes to trying to get a good lady. And that way, if you'd had the sense enough to get a good lady back then, who knows? You guys would probably still be together right now. Never know.
Right.
Because you knew how to discern her. And you knew how to go into her spirit and her psyche and figure her out. And you wouldn't have fell for none of the gaslighting. You would have fell for none of the emasculation tactics. You would have fell for none of the nonsense and the BS. Well, I got a male friend. You got a what? Okay, I tell you what. You go over there and be with that male friend. You go hang out with him. Because no woman of mine gonna have no damn male friend. I'm your damn friend.
These days, women are saying that the females be hating on them. They don't deal with females, so all their friends are males.
I disagree with that nonsense because we all men on this panel right now, and we all know most men do what? It's now if she's not speaking bad on women who are a little heavy, but if she's a little heavy or she may not be as cute, most guys are prone to what? Be her friend. No problem, right? But if she fine and look good, man, we ain't trying to be her friend. We just biding our time until she gets vulnerable, until we can get up in there. And once we get up in it, because that's what we want. Because men are visual creatures. Trust me, if she fine and got it going on, that's my friend. We sitting there looking like, okay. Yeah, I'm your friend right now until I get what I want.
Yeah. So that's like I said, that's another topic because a lot of females on here now, they say they have male friends and there's nothing wrong with them having male friends. I just think today with men being so they don't respect each other's relationship no way. And social media, I just feel like that male friendship crap when you especially married, I don't really, believe in that.
I agree. Because I remember back in my simp days, I was with this woman and we had a relationship form and she was always talking about her friend. I said, okay, no problem. I'm not the insecure type. So I actually talked to her friend on the phone. I met him in person. Come to find out, we sitting there sipping on a little something one night and she finally did the whole confession thing and told me she had slept with this dude twice. Dude, I felt stupid as hell. Not only did I meet this dude, he spent the night at the crib.
Oh yeah, you was simping bad.
Yes. I was sipping Ken. not pimping Ken, but sipping Ken.
What'd you feel about that look but don't touch?
Man.
That was deep.
Yeah, but you know what? I'd rather have a good cutie with no booty. You know what I'm saying? Before I'm chasing some ill-mannered woman with a great body.
Yep.
So, like you say, when you get older, you start thinking about other things other than just this person's body or what they feel like. Because that feel like moment, it only lasts for so long. And then you have to deal with who that person is. And if you don't like who that person is, then it's going to start tainting that feeling. And like I said, until I really, truly knew what love was, being in love was, and then knowing that feeling and the feeling that I get from her when we are doing what we do, that's the best feeling in the world. Out of all the stuff that I've ever had, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those were just moments in time But when you're actually in love and you're truly making love to someone, it is the best thing ever.
Yep.
And it's rare.
I agree.
What he's saying is hella rare.
Mm-hmm.
And but like we say, social media make you think you have options. And that's why a lot of the good relationships and the good people that's really for you fail, because the fact that you feel like you have these options make you less to want to work out the situations that you're in with the person that's the best for you.
Right.
You know,
Well, if you feel like you have if you feel like you have options, then that person that you're with is not the best for you.
they may be the best for you, but a lot of people,
No,
y'all when y'all argue or disagree, have a small disagreement on something, and that person feel like that they have an option. You know what I'm saying?
they have a lack. They do not. That depth of love does not go that deep for that person.
Right. The love don't go that deep. But I'm saying, even though they're not in love with that person,
nor do
this
they
person
respect
still
that
could be the best thing for them. But social media can cloudy that vision to make you feel like it's something better out there. That's why they say, like you're saying right now, that
feel like they're the best person for them. If they feel like they have options, then that person is never going to be the best option for them.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with
but
that.
I'm saying, but because they feel like they have that option, they can give up someone who is really the best option they have. Somebody who's gonna be a real man, gonna
when
be
you
a real leader.
When you feel about someone that the way that you're supposed to feel, you realize there are no other options.
Right. That's what once you there. You feel that. And then sometimes you don't give that person a chance, a time to show you that they're that person, to get to the level that you reach, that you're at and that I've reached, because we feel like we have so many options out there. So we on that person to mess up or make us mad, so we can go see what Sheila's about. We can go see what Sharon doing, knowing all the time Sheila was probably the best for you, but now you want to see what Sharon doing, what Janine doing. You know,
here's the thing: we all have options. We all have options. If my wife left me today, I'm quite sure she would have an option. I would have an option. But what you do is you choose not to see those options. You only choose to see each other. And if you're not at that point in your life,
you're just playing around.
Yeah, you're still playing around. No matter how old you get, you're still playing.
Still playing. You're not ready. No. And there's nothing really wrong with not being ready, especially today. But I feel sorry for the guys, and I don't know Richard's
single
relationship status.
Single.
It's hell, bro, for you to find somebody that's
genuine. It is.
That's genuine. And you know, because when they get 40 plus, they too damn serious a lot of times. Then if you go 35 and under, their mentality is different.
Yep.
So it's like, where do it's like a needle in a haystack, a needle in a corn cob. You know, it's hard to find. And
it is. Me personally, I tend to get along better with foreign women. And they don't necessarily have to be European or Asian or Filipino or nothing like that. They can be from different parts of Africa or wherever, or Brazil. For some reason, I tend to connect with them.
You the passport, bro.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, of course. Yes. But I don't go over there just to smut the girls out. You know, I go over there and actually try to look for something. You know, if that's the case, I could do that right here in the States. Just to sit here and go, hell, I can go to the bar right now out here, because right now I'm in Monroe for another week. If I wanted to, hell, it's still early. I probably could head up to Sippers and see if I can find something. But I'm not going up there because that's not what I'm looking for.
Finding a mate now is pretty tough.
Very tough. Very tough. Because the first thing out of a lot of women mouth today is, number one, I know you both of you guys are married, but the first thing out of their mouth is what you do for a living, what you drive, and they look at your outfit up and down. So what kind of shoes you got on? So what kind of swag you supposed to have? Like I told these young ladies, because I just recently graduated, I went back to Grambling and finished, and I finished December 2021. And I tell them young ladies all the time, you can't judge a man by what the hell he drives and what kind of clothes he got on, like we wearing Jordans or not. You know, if you're looking for a good quality dude, you got to look past all that nonsense. Because of course, most guys gonna go out here and get these things because they know that's what you look for. And the only thing you gonna do is go get your walls beat in, and after that, they're gonna be out. Man, no good quality dudes you're looking for. Look for a good quality guy. That way you won't have to sit here and run the rat race and go through life in the next 10, 20 years pass by. Now you mad at all men because you think we all the same. No. Yeah. Your 20s right now, while you're in college, these are your years right now to find your husband. And the reason I tell sisters that, you know, like I said, I went to Graham, and I hang out with a gang of white people when I live on the West Coast. So what them girls do is this. Freshman year, sophomore year, they thought it out, they slut it up. That's it. By junior, senior year, guess what? They dating an engineer, they dating a guy who's gonna be the doctor, they dating a guy who's gonna do this because guess what? They're looking to get married. Even though they're gonna attain a degree themselves, but they understand, like, hey, this thing called life is hard. I don't want to do this by myself. I'm trying to find a dude who's gonna take care of me. You know, in our community, it's the exact opposite. They're not looking for guys to take care of them. They're only looking to get the degree so they can take care of themselves.
He said take care of themselves.
That's it.
So yeah, it's tough. And like I said, that'll probably be another good topic that we get on too, that we need you on, because you're actually going through this the traditional dating modern.
Yes.
And it's hell, because I sit back and watch, and I listen to the mentality of them, the ones that even come on here, how they speak, the ones that post comments on the post I put out there, and how they, you know, it's just a totally different mindset together. And if you didn't grow up with that mindset, it's gonna be tough, because now they go into the strip clubs, the women go into the strip clubs with their men, and the women spanking ass and throwing dollars out. We weren't used to seeing that.
Right.
You know, but now it's an end thing. Yeah, I take my woman to the strip club, you know, and then, you know, then you got poly, then you got, you know, it's just so much different things going on that you got to fit in. You got to get in to fit in, you know what I'm saying? If that's the route you're going to go, or you can just stay traditional and just keep looking for that needle in that haystack. So that's a totally different topic altogether. But on the closeout of the domestic violence that's on the rise, it's been at least 10 that happened in the month of March alone. And not only just amongst us, it's been white, Asian, you know, it's everybody just killing each other for crazy reasons. Text messages, phone call conversation, messing with coworkers. And the key thing is, if they could just walk away, but I'm listening to a lot of the reasons why they're not walking away, and I'm getting a better understanding. And Phantom has to tell me all the time, everybody don't think like me. Everybody not strong like me. Everybody don't have that mentality. But it's from the way I was raised, you know, the way I was reared up. I just think different, because I had to let a lot go at a young age and see life totally different. So I understand that people are here today, they gone tomorrow. I understand that you hope for the best but prepare for the worst. You know, that's the way I grew up. And I know nothing's promised. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I live like that. So if I wake up tomorrow and mine say, hey, I don't want to be in it no more, I'm like, okay, I was expecting it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't going to go anyway. So there I go, all right, and I start just adjusting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, life goes on.
Yeah.
Especially if I know why we're not together, why we're breaking up. Some I did, she couldn't get over. Some she did, I couldn't get over. I'm just ready to pack up. Okay, what we going to do? And he's like, oh, you gave up too easy. Nah, it's just that I'm so used to people walking out till I don't have the, I don't have my fight goes so far.
Yeah.
But if I know it's not going to work, I'm not going to beg nobody, make nobody stay in a situation that they don't want to be in, and that's turn unhealthy, toxic. I'd rather do like Jay did, and he just say, no matter what you invested, you got to go. And so I'm understanding that. But I just hate that so many of us are staying in these relationships, still searching for the love that we first had when we first met them. The first 2 years was great. The first 2 years, 2 years of a relationship is
honeymoon stage. Yep.
And that's what a lot of them stay. I'm learning a lot of them stay in it. But me, once I see it's just not going that way, I'm gonna come to the table and say, hey, you're not happy, I'm not happy, because I can't come home to an unhappy house 80% of the time I'm living there.
Facts.
But everybody can't. So what you say, what's your closing remarks, Jay, about that, Austin?
Well, my thing is,
because you've seen it firsthand growing up. I didn't. I've seen arguments. I've seen a hole put in a door, but I've never seen physical, just hand, touch, flesh. I never seen that. And you went graphic. I wasn't expecting to hear that. So, but yeah, your thoughts on that, being that you actually seen it.
Well, again, you just have to be okay with the person not being your person. There's going to be someone else out there for you. So if you're not happy in a situation, or if you come to a time period where you're putting your hands on each other, causing physical or emotional abuse with each other, you need, if you can't correct that situation, you need to walk away and realize this just isn't your person. There is another person out there for you that may not bring all of that out of you, or you bring that out of them, or you all bring that out of each other.
But Jay, when you in love, like the love you say you got right now that you're experiencing, I don't think that's going to be easy for you to walk away with this one.
I am so in love with my wife, so in love with her. But if my wife is not happy with me and she chooses to leave, then that's her choice. Then she was my person for that particular moment in time.
I mean, that's the mentality to have, because you know the ones that's the one, I feel like it's going to be a tad bit difficult. Not saying we're not going to do it, but going to be a tad bit difficult to walk away from the ones that we thought was the one. It's a difference in thinking it's the one and then the one you say, hey, this is the one.
I can't sit up here and say I would not be extremely emotional.
Right.
I'll be emotional in sorrow, and emotional in just hurt feelings, but not to the point where I'm like, you can't leave me. I'm gonna kill you, because if I can't have you, no one else will.
And I'm thinking that's what happened with that incident, the Mississippi thing. Yeah. I think that turned into, she pulled the gun out as if to play. I'm gonna still say play, but to say, you're not going nowhere. You think you can leave me? Because he was packing his clothes. And I think she went, got the gun, you ain't going nowhere type of deal, and held to him, and it went off. So I'm thinking
she probably didn't think it was loaded.
Yeah. Just she said that, like, but there was second nature when she said that. So yeah, I agree with Austin, because we understand that when it's over, it's over. You know what I'm saying? And we just have to, you know, life goes on. Pick up the pieces and move on. But yeah, I was taught if you have to beat them, you don't need them. That's how I came up. So the first time I even think of seriously putting my hands on somebody is the day that I start working on getting away from them.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts overnight, and I don't believe in nothing happens overnight, and I don't believe in leaving and coming back.
Yeah.
Once everybody I ever left, I stayed gone. And I weaned myself off of them because I've seen many brothers get mad, jump up, leave, and then a year or two they back in that same old hellhole, and it go good for another 2 years, maybe 3, bench pressing 4 years. But after that, it's 3 times worse than what it was when they got out of it. Then they realized why I left in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm a firm believer of weaning yourself off that person and walking away so you don't have to come back. But a lot of them come back. And like I say, in your closing remark, why do they stay in it and how to get out of it? What suggestion you offer to get out of it? If they're in it because we were dating since high school, they're in it because we got 2, 3 kids together. I love you, but they not happy. They fighting all the time. It's that where you been? And I went here, he popping up over there doing this and that. They can't trust them. The trust issues eating them up. But when they happy, they happy. When they get when one of them get paid, they happy. If they get stamps, they happy. If their county check come, they happy. You know, and the highlights on Facebook, the highlights on Instagram, highlights on TikTok, man, they happy. But then we saw a live where they weren't happy that ended in a death. So so break all that down, and then we're gonna close it out. Richard.
Oh, me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, with that, now, like just touched on, I grew up in that type of household too, to where I saw my mom get beat down a lot. You know, my mom had a smart mouth, so she always had to get the last word. You know, so in turn, she went through what she went through, not just with my dad, but like 2 more men after that. You know, so I saw it a lot, and that's the reason why I don't put hands on women today, because I saw all she had to go through, and I always vowed to myself, if it ever got to that point, I'm not going to put hands on nobody. It's just easier for me to walk away and just start over. Even though I don't want to. Starting over is expensive. Starting over is a headache. Starting over is a chore. You know, I don't want to do that. But like I stated before, your peace of mind is way more important. Not only that, to keep the domestic violence stuff off your record, because like I said, with certain professions, you're not going to be able to go into it with a DV on your record. It's over. You know, you might as well go work at Wendy's or whatever. Not knocking people that work there, but hell, I don't work at no damn Wendy's. But you know, with that being said, you know, like I said earlier, you just have to take your time to vet who you're with, and that's the task, because men are naturally visual creatures, and we see something fine and look nice, we automatically want to go see what's going on with it. We want to run up in it, and, you know, we try to do something down. We try to knock it down real quick. But we're not looking at her character. We're not looking at her behavior. We're not looking at her ethics, morals, and values. And then that's the thing. People are going to always show you who they are. You just have to pay attention, because they're going to give you that information. And the best way to have them show them who they are, give them some liquor. Or put them in a situation to where you guys are out partying. You're gonna see the real them, and they're gonna come out real quick. You know, and that's the thing. You know, and that's the hard part, trying to decipher what type of person you're with, because most people, when you meet them, you meet who? You meet their representative. You don't meet them. You don't meet the real them till like 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years into the relationship.
Yeah.
Then the real them show up.
Phantom last week.
Yeah.
Like, you got that people can hide real good.
Yes.
Especially today.
Yes.
The sad part about the ones that killed them, so that the lady that killed the guy, they got married after having the 3 kids that they have, 2 or 3 kids. I'm thinking it was 3 or 4. But anyway,
yeah.
They got married February 11th, 2022. So a little over a year after he married her, he's dead.
But guess what? If he would have stayed a baby's daddy, she wouldn't have killed him.
If he would have stayed a what?
If he would have stayed a baby daddy, he can still move around how he moved around. Yes.
Probably.
Yes, of course. Because they have gone through the dance. They've gone through the song and dance several times. They've gone through the gauntlet before, to where he threatened to leave. He probably packed his little stuff up, left, and ended up coming back. But
I
then
get what you're saying. You get
now
what
you
you're
put
saying.
you stamp marriage onto it.
Yeah.
It changes the whole dynamic of the relationship.
And I told the wife that, and I tell a lot of people that. To some people, once you do that I do thing, it changes. You know what I'm saying? Either love to get deeper because you no longer just shacking or just having sex with this person. You cared enough to go get a ring, go before God, the angels, his assembly, your people. Yep. That's the person you chose to represent you.
Exactly.
And they out there, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever. It's going to be a different level on how you're going to treat that situation. If they just somebody that's staying with you and y'all just having frequent sex and paying bills together, they do something, you're like, okay, two can play this game. You do you, they do them. We ain't got to be together. But then when you say that I do, y'all move in together and y'all building. One or two of the people, one or both are gonna take that situation different.
Exactly.
And like and you hit the nail on the head. Had he still just been the baby daddy, probably wouldn't have touched her like that with him packing his clothes. And it probably wasn't the first time he done it. I thought maybe it was his first time trying to do it. And she was like, "You ain't going nowhere," type of crap.
But
because
it's something about that I do thing. Like my homegirl back in Cali, she said she wanted to leave her dude because he went out every night. I said, "Hold up, man." I said, before you guys got married, Mike went out every other night with his brothers to go out and have drinks. What, you thought it was going to stop just because y'all got married? It didn't stop. Even after they got married, he still went out with his brothers on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and they go have drinks at the bar, shoe pool, whatever. And she got mad because he was doing that. I said, wasn't he doing that before? That's the thing. When you say I do, they think everything's supposed to change. No, his life is going to continue, and he's going to continue to do the things he was doing before. Just like you're going to continue to do the things you were doing before you said I do, right? It works the same way.
Majority. I just move a little different. But
that's it. Yeah. But he wasn't out there getting at no girls or nothing. He was just out there shooting pool, drinking liquor, and drinking beers. And guess who he came home to?
He probably feel like she want that time, though, that he was supposed to back up off them boys when he said I do. That was the problem, thought.
But he didn't. He kept going to the bar. Even though they were married, he took care of home and paid everything. And hell, he put her in a house. Ain't no man she had before never put her in no damn house. She never had a house before ever. that she didn't have to pay rent for.
Right.
He put her in a house in California, hell, in the Bay Area, out of all places.
Yeah, that's
expensive as hell.
I just left from out there in December. You right, that shit.
Yeah, that shit high as hell. I used to live in Oakland.
There again, I'm straight.
I lived in East Oakland and I worked in San Francisco. Trust me, that area is expensive as hell.
East 73rd and Lockwood, homie.
There it is. Yes, that's the town business.
So yeah, man.
All right.
But yeah, we appreciate you, Rich, man.
Already.
Tell them your social media platform, how they can reach you.
No doubt. I'm at Mr. Melvin TV, capital M-R, capital MELVINN, capital TV. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, and I'm here on Facebook. So check me out. I drop at least 1 or 2 videos a day on different topics, whether it be relationships or just stuff I see or different ideas I come up with. I haven't put together a show in a while because I'm in transition. I'm getting ready to go back out to ATL because I'm signing a new contract to go out there and work out there. So right now I'm in Monroe, just chilling out till it starts up. But that's how you reach me, man, at Mr. Melvin TV, whether on TikTok, Facebook, or on YouTube.
That'll work. And like I said, when you come this way, hit me up, man. We got to link up.
You in the A?
In the A.
Oh, shit. All right. Already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So hit me up. Make that happen.
Already. I'll be out there on the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, already.
Okay. Yeah, hit me up.
All right, no doubt.
We definitely got to link up.
Okay, already.
And all right, Austin, appreciate it. We get ready to let you watch Stars because you done got me into them series. We be watching. We done went from Sisters to the Teamer now. So
Already.
yeah, he got me on that. It's kind of deep, and I never thought I'd watch that type of stuff, but it's pretty decent. Especially
Okay.
sometimes Sisters, I was biased on it, but when I started watching it, it's a pretty decent thing, you know.
All right. I'm on the last
Yeah.
episode of Book of Canaan myself. I got to finish that one.
Yeah. I watched because I'm on the Tariq and them now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm watching that one now. I'm waiting on the new Canaan to come out. Do you know when it's supposed to come out?
I don't know the date. I have no idea, but I'm
they
waiting
are
for
working
it.
on another one because that's the one I was more into.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that one.
Especially that Mama boy.
Them kicking tail, but there's just something about the Raising Cain. It's a little bit tighter. I guess it's the setting being in the 90s and late 80s and stuff.
And his mom is straight gangster.
Very. Now Mary J do her thing too. Now
she does.
She ain't no punk. But
yeah.
But I appreciate it, fellas. And same time next week.
Already.
Platform. We'll be back with another one.
All right.
And we look to have you on there, Mr. Melvin TV.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
All right, Jay.
Just have Jay send me that link, man. I'll be there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Already. All right, guys.
Holla.
Holla.